Welcome, everybody. I don't know. I think I will try to keep this brief in deference to the audience. I'm here to welcome everyone on behalf of the city, as well as to thank Ray and Brian, Lisa, Jim Hines, Sousa, all the people who for literally years have been engaged in both protecting the environment and having a great concern for us to live peacefully with our neighbors worldwide. I was thinking on the way over here, knowing Julie who usually does the invocation and the whole concept of the Mother Earth, we should just remember that every day is Mother's Day. We need to love our mother and take care of her. And I see another face out there of somebody who is relentless, Chris Young. I don't know if Michelle's here, but anyway, Ojai is a special place for a lot of reasons. You know, it's not just a nice place to visit and a nice place to live, but we are a microcosm of what the world faces. So far, we in many ways are blessed with not having the problems of other parts of the planet, and in some ways we are more sensitive to issues such as air pollution. Long before people were taking it really seriously, the people of Ojai were concerned. There were school teachers who would get up in the morning and before going to teach their class, the wife of one of our teachers comes to mind, Maria Studer, she would go down to where the smog test equipment was on top of the roof and would climb up and read it and then try to get the word out to the neighbors as to how bad the air was getting to be. The work is never done. I'm pleased to say, and I almost hesitant to say, that we have met the federal standard finally, but it's a very low bar that they set. We are the second worst air quality in the Ventura County area, and we always thank SME for not making us the worst. But SME's working on their problem as we are here. The City Council has adopted 100% clean air resolution. We've adopted a resolution on the Paris Agreement. We're still in, regardless of what they say in Washington, where we will do what we can. We have declared a climate emergency, and while we're celebrating International Peace Day, I believe it's the 28th year as of yesterday, there is such a close connection between the environment, the climate issues, and peace. When you start to have literally hundreds of millions of people migrating because they will be underwater if they don't, or they can't eat anymore because the weather conditions no longer allow them to subsistence farm, all you have to do is look at Syria if you want an example of what results, and it's the sort of the never-ending battle for those who want to ignore the situation. What I say to my friends about climate change, when they say, you know, the scientists don't know, I say, well, most of the scientists agree, but I think everybody should agree. Just look out the window, pay attention, and we know it's changing. What's causing it and what we can do about it, that we can discuss. But the idea that we aren't faced with this as a challenge is ridiculous. Our city, we are sitting, I mention this occasionally, it's a small thing, but an example of where ideas begin. We are sitting in the first certified green zone in Ventura County, where the City Council applied and received a grant from the air pollution control people, and we got rid of most of our light equipment with the two-stroke engines. If you've been reading your paper or been paying attention, there's a well-known fact that those small two-stroke engines, you can't build them to be clean and still carry them around, and they are being used as a power source for portable equipment. And there are all sorts of statistics on the equivalent of like half hour, an hour running a leaf blower puts out as much pollution as driving a sedan from LA to Denver, or a Ford 150 from New York to Alaska. We got a Laura Ward at the newspaper put in her calculation, if you read her piece, was saying, driving from Bacalli's to the farmer and the cook or whatever her destinations were, she did a mathematic calculation, and the comparison is astronomical. So we need to start even tightening up more on those activities. The council did have a suspension on the enforcement of leaf blower two-stroke engines in residential areas, and we finally got that lifted. We all need to do something, and the wisdom of the ancients and some of the teachers, the rabbis, it's if not me, who? If not now, when? I can't do everything, but I can do something, and I will. And we need to say that every morning when we get up. One of the big things we can all do is be what they call mindful, and mindful is don't just go through the motions of the day without actually thinking. And it's not enough just to think, it's important to think again. First think about what you're doing, and then think about how that relates to what you're saying and what you're concerned with. A couple of friends of mine were talking, and I wasn't there, so I think I'm paraphrasing this reasonably closely, but one was saying to the other, you seem down today, and this is a person who has great concern for the environment and pesticides and all that sort of thing, and he said, I'm depressed. He says, because I realize I can't live up to my own mythology. And that's true for all of us, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't keep trying. Anyway, I'm here to say thank you for participating. Ray, thanks for organizing. Steve, thanks for recording. Where's Jim Hines? He was out here a second ago. Oh, there he is. Here's somebody who just, devotes his life, not just here. He goes to where the politicians are to carry the message and to bring the message back to us. And we had a demonstration this week, the strike, for, the whole issue over climate with the young people, the students. And when we were adopting the resolution declaring it a climate emergency, the usual complaints or debate was, well, what good is this doing? This isn't going to reduce the... And I said, what good it does is that you add your voice to the choir so that the choir can be heard. It's not going to come from the top down. If it doesn't come from the bottom up, I won't even go there. So anyway, have a really great day. And Ray, I don't know whether you or Brian would like to receive the proclamation we have brought from the city. Is it Brian or Lisa?
Brian. See, he wasn't even listening to you.
He's already heard it many times. Yeah. It's a fairly short resolution, so I will do my best to read it. I may have to get rid of my sunglasses. Hi, Brian. It's quite a challenge for me just to have the sequence. No, just switching my glasses here. It says, on September 21st, yesterday marks the 28th International Day of Peace, first proclaimed in 1981 by the United Nations. And whereas the ideal of peace embraces the deepest hopes of humankind and remains humanity's guiding inspiration, and whereas the observance of this day in Ojai affirms the spirit of our community and the broader world, a vision of universal peace with cooperation between individuals, organizations, and nations, whereas people in communities around the world mark this day with the activities such as vigils, bell ringing, a moment of silence, religious service, cultural exhibits, performances, community service, and what we call festivals. Yes. Whereas the residents of Ojai seek to celebrate this day with like-minded people around the world by proclaiming the universal message, may peace prevail on earth. Now therefore be it resolved, I, John F. Johnston, Mayor of the City of Ojai, do hereby proclaim September 21st, 2019. I've been doing this all week long, so we're not a day late. So, but welcome to the autumn, and I'll give this to Brian and Lisa. And we are a city of peace, and Bob Dodge, who has worked tirelessly on the issues of nuclear weapons. We are a nuclear-free zone, and we were the second city in the country to adopt such a statement.